Will I ever sell Safemoon? No, Tyler, you can never sell Safemoon. That's not allowed. If you sell Safemoon, you're shunned from the community because Safemoon says that they're going to take us to the moon safely. And if that's your goal as an investor is to make it to the moon and you can do it in a safe fashion, why would you ever sell Safemoon? Why would you even make this title? Why would you put all this FUD out there? You are banned. Well, let's just relax. Okay, let's just relax. Okay. So the question, about whether I would ever sell Safemoon is a question that I get quite often, right? It's one that people do ask me all the time, and it's a very interesting question at that. And so the reason that I, or what would have to arise for me to sell Safemoon basically applies to every other crypto that I'm invested in or stock that I'm invested in right now. But it is a question that I get specifically for Safemoon, as I know people do get questionable about their investments, especially when they buy Safemoon. And so with that being said, I wanted to make a video today kind of explaining the things that would need to happen, what would have to change, or what reasonings behind, would have to arise for me to sell Safemoon at some point in the future, given how much of a fan and, just an overall supporter of the project that I am. So with that being said, that is exactly what we are going to be going over today, and let's go ahead and let's get into the video. So with that being said, guys, let's kind of talk about a few reasons why I would sell Safemoon, and then I'll talk about a few reasons why a lot of people do sell Safemoon that I'm not personally, okay? So the very first thing that would need to occur for me to, want to sell Safemoon, like, okay, you know what, that's enough, my money is not worth being in it anymore, would be a fundamental change to the entire project itself. And I know this is very broad, but let me specify and kind of, slim it down a little bit. So whenever I invest into these different crypto projects, I look for things within the fundamentals that give them a reason to be different from the rest, okay? When Safemoon came around, yeah, of course, there was a lot of hype around it. Everyone was excited about it, but there were other fundamental differences within the project itself that separated it from the pack, and that's something if you watch my Gem Finders season or, series or a show or TV show, whatever we call the thing nowadays, that's something that that I do look for very, very often. Well, Safemoon had that. Whenever we talk about the overall idea behind the tokenomics, the reflections, the burn, the holding, it's a big movement that they didn't necessarily create, but they definitely got got it going, right? We didn't see a lot of these other projects doing that same style of tokenomic reflections and all of that until Safemoon really got popular. And I mean, if we talk about the amount of different projects that have the safe blank moon name, we can see that they really did start an entire movement, right? And so with that, since they did start that movement, that does seem to have continued on, and I think will continue on for months and months to come, especially with some of these newer cryptos. I do believe that is always going to put Safemoon in a different group from a lot of these other meme tokens, momentum tokens, or whatever you'd like to call them, simply for the fact that they're kind of like the founding fathers of this entire movement. So with that being said, whenever it comes to fundamental changes, since ownership, of course, of Safemoon is not renounced, of course, they can somewhat change things up a bit. And so with that being said, I think that if they were to go in and they were start to kind of maybe like take out the tokenomics, take out reflections, or just do something that would change it so fundamentally that it wasn't what we invested into in the very first place, of course, I would then start to reconsider that investment. Now, not only does it apply to like the tokenomics, but it also does apply to their overall vision and where they plan on going with this. One thing I love about Safemoon is the overall diversification of what they are trying to do. And so with that, if they do, be like, no, we're not going to do a blockchain, or we're not going to do a wallet or an exchange. We're not going to do any of that. We're just simply going to be a token that focuses on reflection. Well, at that point, I feel like the fundamental change would be so significant in that the utility would decrease at such an extensive amount that personally speaking, I would probably not want to hold it anymore, because at that point, I don't think the longevity would necessarily be there. And so with that being said, that's another example of a fundamental change that would need to occur for me to want to sell Safemoon. So with that being said, that's kind of like number one. That's the biggest thing I look for. Are the fundamentals the same? Do they remain the same? And then with that, how are they going to go forward? So that kind of puts me into the second point. The second thing that I would be looking for, the second thing that would somewhat make me say, okay, maybe I want to sell my Safemoon and it's not worth it, as an investment for me anymore, is a lacking of progress. And that's something that I don't think people consider, a lot, right? Because one thing we have to think about Safemoon is people are selling and people are flooding in and people are doing all of this. They haven't even released one of the things on their roadmap, right? And so with that, I think it's important that we realize it's just getting started. They're just within the first few months, and they have some very high-level developers, as we can clearly see from, recent events and, Twitter and all of that good stuff, right? So with that being said, as time does pursue, as we do continue to go forward into time, one thing that I'm looking for is to make sure that they're holding true to their word. And so with that, it kind of does apply not only to would there be a lack of progress, but also are they holding to the promises in which they do promise, right? Because if they're saying we're going to do a blockchain, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to see all of this stuff, and in 2 to 3 years from now, we're not really getting anything but maybe a wallet, at that point I'm saying, okay, I think that on a time horizon that they're not meeting the expectations and goals that they set for themselves, and I think that that is a full display of a lacking of foundation or leadership, which would then lead me to want to sell my investment into Safemoon, as I feel like it could be placed better else somewhere. And that is not what I envision happening. I don't think that would happen at all, personally speaking, but it is something that in the future, if something like that was to happen, it would definitely for sure make me say, okay, maybe my money is better off somewhere else. Now, the last thing that would kind of somewhat make me question, not necessarily for sure sell, but question if I would sell Safemoon would definitely be if there was some type of change in leadership. Now, what I mean by that is I know through all the technical difficulties that we get basically every week and all of the FUD and everything that we have seen, I truly believe that their team is very strong. You know, just for what we have seen and the way that they handle a lot of their problems, it's absolutely fantastic. And I truly do love the reactions in which they give to a lot of the situations that have arrived, from War on Rugs, that scammer that I actually had a conversation with about like right when all that started. I'll tell you guys about that another day. Or just, you know, all of these other things that arise where people were like, this is a scam, blah, blah, blah. And the way the Safemoon team handled it and the way they did push forward, and they were so engaging and interactive with their community, and they didn't let the community give up on hope. I really do like that. And I think you learn a lot about CEOs and CFOs and all of these people whenever you can truly see how they're going to handle a lot of, you know, the traction that does come with growth, right? Every company is going to have growing pains. And unfortunately for Safemoon, considering the time in which they did arise, and with everything going on, they had a lot more growing pains than a lot of other companies and, you know, crypto projects will have. And going forward, they are going to continue to have them. And you learn a lot about the leadership. You learn a lot about the team, and by, you know, observing the way in which they would go about certain scenarios. And now everyone goes about things differently. But for me speaking, the way in which they handled a lot of the War on Rogue situation, the way in which they handled a lot of the speculations and the false rumors and all of the things that did come out around Safemoon, especially within the first 2 months, that is a way in which I would have handled it. They went about it in a fantastic manner. And so through that, if there was some type of change in leadership, it would definitely make me reconsider my investment, as I would be a little bit nervous. Like, okay, how are they going to handle it? How would they handle it? If John Caroni or, you know, if Papa or any of them were just deciding, you know what, I don't want to be in this project anymore, you know, maybe start arguing and then all of this stuff arise, maybe I would kind of be like, I like the you know, the combination that we saw from them. And so a split up would definitely make me a little bit nervous. And then at that point, reconsider my investment. Not necessarily sell, depending on the scenario, but it would definitely make me reconsider it in terms of, okay, we need to observe the new leadership. We need to see how that's going to go. Is it the same as what we have seen before? So with that being said, those are the 3 main things that I would need to see, or, you know, just it could be each one of those individually. It wouldn't have to be the combination of the 3 that would make me start to reconsider and or sell my Safemoon investment. So what are some things that I would not sell because of? You know, there's one really specifically that a lot of people have been selling for recently, and it's interesting, and it's not kind of comical, but it's a little bit funny to me personally, because it's just, they tend to put Safemoon in this group and think that it won't react to things in the same way that all other cryptos will, right? And that's going to be the price, okay? So let's talk about that. I'm actually going to jump on the computer here. You guys know I'm a fan of charts. So with that, let's just take a broad look at what we have seen, you know, over the years from many cryptos, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Safemoon, and we're just going to kind of look, how has it been moving? Well, if we take our ruler here, we can see Safemoon from all-time highs. Now, this was actually not going to be the actual all-time high. It was going to be right here. So if we take it back down there, we're down about 67% from all-time highs. Cool. Is that fun? No, it's not. No one ever wants to see their crypto go down 67%. But this is the reason why I'm not stressing about it, okay? This is the reason why I'm like, it is what it is, and we see this happen time and time again. Now, in no way am I comparing Safemoon to Bitcoin or ADA or any of these other ones, but I'm simply using this as a reference and saying that it always happens, right? So if we take our ruler and we kind of look at the drops and the falls that we've seen in the past, I mean, we have seen Bitcoin's price fall 80 plus to 90% on multiple occasions. Let's look at ADA. ADA is the biggest holding that I have in my portfolio, and it is by far my favorite crypto. One thing that we can see here is ADA as well. They had their first big moment of excitement. Everyone was happy about them. Everyone was excited. And then next thing you know, crypto winter starts, and we see this thing falling from up there all the way down here, and that's a 98% fall from the all-time high, right? That's almost a loss of everything. And now look where we are, right? Years later, look where this thing has recovered to. And so with that being said, this 60%, 70% fall that we've seen recently doesn't change my opinion on Safemoon. Now, I'm not saying that it is going to do what ADA has. I'm not saying it's on the same level as ADA and Bitcoin. But what I am saying is that just because it has that initial moment of hype and that initial moment of excitement, and then it starts to see that gradual decline and then that eventual stability and consolidation, doesn't mean for me personally that it is dead, that it'll never come back, because clearly we've seen time and time again within the cryptosphere that that is simply just untrue. And so with that being said, that is the biggest thing that I've seen people sell because of that I personally wouldn't sell because of. So with that, I do understand, a lot of investors or traders or anything like that, most of them did just get into Safemoon because they wanted to enjoy the ride up. They were excited about this. Then whenever it starts to do this, of course they're going to exit because they're not in it for the same reasons that I am. And so I understand that, and I'm not ridiculing them or I'm not upset about them, because realistically when they sell, I get more. But what that does say is that, I'm focused more on the long term. I'm focused on how they're going to develop this thing, how they were going to continue forward with it, how they're going to build with it and continue to show fantastic signs of leadership. And through all of that, that is what will maintain my investment within Safemoon. And so with that, this video isn't to, spread FUD in any way, obviously, and if you've watched this far into the video, you can tell I am in no way saying I'm selling Safemoon or anything like that, and I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section, you're spreading FUD, you're telling us to sell, as I'm clearly not. But what I am saying is, through this, I hope some of you do understand who may have the same intentions as me, or, who may invest certain, in a similar method as me, or anything like that. You can kind of see the things that I look out for, just in case you do start to get a little bit nervous about your own investments. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. It was a little bit different. It wasn't, the style that I usually have, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Of course, if you did, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. I post on this channel 1 to 2 times every day, and we go live every single day for gem finders. Now, I must say, as you are watching this video, I will actually be out of town. I'm taking a vacation for my birthday, the first one I've taken in a long time. So gem finders will be back up and running on this Saturday that you are watching this. So with that being said, I will see you all very, very soon in another video tomorrow. Peace.